And we are on the air. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the show that not only doesn't take any shit from anybody, but is okay with taking medicated stuff not prescribed by a doctor. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Velardi, a.k.a. Hampton Mike, along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger Retard. Brian, how are you today?
Are you on medication currently?
I need to be.
That's exactly right. That's where I was going.
A lot of Vikings, if anybody has any out there. Anyway, that's another show. Today we are going to get back to our 32 NFL preview for our shows. Today we are going to head up to the frozen tundra of the north to talk to a guy who knows the Minnesota Vikings inside, outside, backwards, and sideways. Well, maybe not sideways, but let's get to him right now. He's on the phone. His name is Larry Herrera. Larry, what's up, my friend?
Hey guys, how we doing?
Oh, Larry, it's beautiful. We're talking Vikings today. How about that?
Skull.
Ooh! All right, let's get to it. Brian, let's talk. Stat me, Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings, 8-8 last year, third place in the NFC North. They did not make the playoffs. They struggled offensively, Mike. They were 28th overall in the NFL.
Sam Bradford?
Well, not entirely, actually, because they actually ranked 18th through the air, but 32nd on the ground. And again, all you math majors out there know there's 32 teams in the league. Sam Bradford had an okay year in his first year there. A little under 4,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. Protected the ball very, very well. That rushing attack, though, as you probably imagine, no bueno. Jarek McKinnon and Matt Asiata combined for 941 yards, 8 touchdowns. Really on the outside, too, Mike, they were a bit of a committee with their wide receivers.
Yep.
Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, they both had over 900 yards, but tight end Kyle Rudolph had 840 yards for his own and 7 touchdowns. Much better defensively. The third-ranked defense in the NFL last year, pretty much against the pass. They were third against the pass and just 20th against the run. We talked about that horrible rushing attack. Well, they addressed it nicely in the draft. Now, again, they didn't have a first-round pick. That went to the Eagles for Sam Bradford. But in the second round, they got a guy who many people thought would be a mid-first-round pick, Dalvin Cook, running back out of Florida State. So, Larry, I want to start there. They struggled a lot with the run game last year. Obviously, Peterson had his issues, and they kind of tried to patchwork it. But they got a guy in Dalvin Cook, many pundits felt, he could be a pick in that middle first round, maybe a pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
A lot of teams were kind of rumored for Dalvin Cook. He ends up in Minnesota. Talk a little bit about what we can expect from Cook this year.
Well, honestly, I think Cook, being a Vikings fan, but I have to hope that he does well. In his preseason play, I really didn't like it that well. I don't think he did much. I don't think they give him enough time for being a rookie. He should have had a lot more time. I know they're planning on him starting this season, so that's probably why we didn't see that much of him. I mean, he had a few good bursts of speed. He had a nice 15-yard run, but it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting a breakout week, so I'm hoping for the better.
Yeah. Larry, you look at this wide receiving core, and Brian touched on earlier with Stephon Diggs. Some guys, Stephon Diggs, I think is going to come along nicely. Adam Thielen, excuse me. So that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
Whatever. I think he's going to be a good player as well. Let's talk a little bit about the wide receiving core and actually the tight end Kyle Rudolph. Do you think they're enough to help Sam Bradford move forward with this team? I mean, I know he tailed off last year, but do you think he has enough to move forward with this team?
Once again, I have to say I hope so. Sam Bradford, I always liked him. I just felt that he never got a good solid year in. And last year he did. I mean, he played 15 games for the Vikings. I think he did very well for what he had to work with that offensive line that was falling apart. I hope to see Laquan Treadwell do something. It was kind of a bust for a first-round pickup for us the year before. To not see him, I mean, he had 1 reception last year.
Yeah.
It's, they've got to give the guy a little bit more of a chance and see if he can be a top-notch receiver in the NFL.
No, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, for a guy to put a first-round pick into a player, throw to him 1 time over 9 games, I mean, or however many games he played, it's just, to me, I just think that was such a waste. And hopefully, it looks like he's going to be one of the outside receivers this year, Larry. So it's possible that given a more prominent role that they get more out of him. But I guess from what you know, why didn't they look for more from him last year? What was the reason that you might be aware of as to why he didn't play as prominent a role?
Well, I know he was getting hurt in practice. He had some hamstring issues. I believe he had something with his ankle or turf toe. Not turf toe. He didn't have turf toe. There's somebody else who had turf toe. But he had something wrong with his ankle and his hamstring. He pulled his muscle a lot. I know he was on the injured reserve for a little bit.
And sorry, Larry.
So like that's okay. I just hope to see more of him this year to prove that he was worth a first round pick. That's nothing. I hate wasting a first round pick, and we've been pretty good throughout the years with our first round picks: Adrian Peterson, Randy Moss. The one thing I want to get back with Cook is a lot of people passed on him because of his bad boys, his bad friends. I mean, Randy Moss went to jail before he went to the NFL. Vikings always seem to pick up these degenerates. I think that's why I like the team. They're a team that, I mean, I remember the booze cruise they had.
Yes.
Where they all pulled over the boat and took a piss in somebody's yard and they all got arrested. I mean, they're just always asking for trouble.
Right.
Larry, you go to the defensive side of the ball with the Vikings, and I think the Vikings are pretty set with their defensive core that they have. The defensive backs, I think, are solid. They have Eric Kendricks back there, a linebacker. Tell us more about your opinion of the defense. Does this defense stand tall like they did last year and help them out, or they kind of, I don't want to say even take a step back because I don't think they're even going to do that, but do you think this defense is solid enough to make a bigger step forward?
Yeah, I do. I think this year they're going to be the first overall, to be honest with you. It's not first, it's going to be a close second. They added a few new people. We got that corner from Seattle last week. For a seventh round pick.
Tremaine Brock, yeah.
I mean, I speak to my son a lot. My son knows more about this than me. I always ask him, like, when I hear something, my phone goes off, about this, and he already knew 2 hours ago and predicted it or something else. But I asked him about that trade, and he said it's not bad for a seventh round pick. Seventh round is nothing. So to hope the guy comes out and does something good for us.
We're talking to Larry Herrera, the Minnesota Vikings affiliate for the Sports Box.
The one thing that really...
I actually have Adrian Peterson's autograph on my back.
Really?
That's a fan.
Yeah, I had tattoos.
That's a fan.
I met him in my God, where was I? I think we were in Virginia. Or it might have been Edison, New Jersey. We were at a sports show. Okay. I was signing 2 helmets. And then I took my jersey off, and he thought he was signing that, and I turned around and said, sign right under the Vikings logo tattoo I had on my back.
I see that.
There
goes my chance of getting Vinny Testaverde tattooed on my back.
And then I got the certificate authenticity tattooed with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is good. That's good. Good idea, Larry.
You know what stands out? Before we get to the schedule, what stands out to me on their defense here, Larry, is they've put a lot of high picks into it. You look at their secondary alone. First round pick in 12, Harrison Smith. First round pick in 13, Xavier Rhodes. First round pick in 15, Trey Waynes. They added Anthony Barr, first round pick in 14. They've put a lot of resources, high pick resources, into this defense. So really, when you talk about why you think they're going to be so good and why they have been so good, they've put their money where their mouth is. They've invested in a defense, in a division where they got Aaron Rodgers twice a year. They got Matt Stafford twice a year. So they really got to make sure that their pass defense is taken care of. I think they've done a real nice job of building a very solid defense.
Oh, yeah, they did an incredible job. And they're going to keep on doing it. Like I said, they just keep adding new key players, and they're spending the draft picks up there for the defense.
So, Larry, we're going to get to the schedule now, and I look at what's called Murderer's Row, where it's a stretch of games, 3 or 4 games in the season that is going to be a tough stretch. Maybe it's travel, maybe it's just good teams, whatever the case may be. I'm looking at the Vikings schedule now, and they got, it looks like week 12 is going to be a little bit tricky because they're off to Detroit, the division game, off to Atlanta, off to Carolina, and home for the Bengals and at Green Bay. I say that because those are games down the stretch that Minnesota is going to need to win to get either the division title or get in the playoffs. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. I really do. It was a little nerve-wracking looking at that schedule this year.
Yeah, especially week 3, Larry. That looks like they're going to get smoked that week. I mean, they play the Bucks in Minnesota. I mean, that could be beaten that week. But that's a whole other show. So we won't worry.
Well, my biggest concern, Larry, he's consistent. If you watch the show, he's consistent.
15-1, Larry.
Yeah. Well, what scares me for the Vikings is, they were a very streaky team last year. They got off to a 5-0 start. I mean, they were the talk of the league. And then they found a way to drop for the next 4 games. And it wasn't as if they had really strong opponents those 4 games. They just found a way to lose those games. So while I agree with you, Mike, that 5-game stretch at the end, that's tough. But even the beginning isn't easy at all.
Yeah.
They're going to host New Orleans to open up their new stadium.
Yep.
They're going to go to Pittsburgh, and then, I mean, whatever you think of the Bucs, fine. I don't think they're going to be a very good team. They host them as well. Those first 3 games, I think, are they need to...
Right out of the chute.
Yeah, I mean, they got to find a way to win 2 of those games. They can't really fall behind, especially against, with a Green Bay team in their division. What
do you think, Larry?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lull in the middle, but...
I think week 1 we're going to come out with a win, because I think they're kind of pissed off at Adrian Peterson the way he left.
That's true. That's true. Peterson going home.
That's fair.
I think there's going to be a warm welcome for him with the fans. But I think as soon as he tries to break through, I think they're going to wrap him up. And I just hope they don't hurt him.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably get a break, Larry, in week 3. They probably rest all their starters by the second half because the game will be out of reach anyway. So at least that'll be a good game to rest everybody. So anyway, before Larry, we get to the schedule. Before we ask you, put you on a spot for a record, I want to ask you. Blair Walsh out, Kai Forbath in. Do you think Blair Walsh's departure has a lot to do with what he did at the end of the year? I mean, here's a guy, and
in the playoff.
I mean, a playoff game. Yeah. Here's a guy, Larry. Is probably one of the elite kickers in the league, if you can call him that. Probably top 5, if anything, in the league. And because of one playoff kick, the guy was probably just destroyed about it. And do you think that was the reason why he exited out of town?
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I think that they just were tired of his missing the key kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 28-yarder, and he missed it.
Yeah.
Well, ironically enough, he went to Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of ironic.
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
But why did they get rid of Hoosier?
I don't know. I think it was he was just needed to change the scenery. He went off to Buffalo, so... and a funny note about that, Brian, I think I told you this before.
You did.
His name is Stephen Hauschka, folks, but he spells his name Steven, where all these years it was Phen. And when they asked him, well, how come Seattle didn't spell it like that, he says it. So if that's not a nut job kicker for you, I don't know what is. But anyway, Larry, this damn kickers, I'll tell you, they're crazy. So Larry, we'll put you on the spot with the record for your boys. What do you think number-wise the Vikings will do this year?
Oh my God, I'm hoping for 11-5, but I'll take 10-6.
Okay.
All right, well, that's right around where we have.
Now, here's a question for you. Now, a 10-6 Vikings team, is that a playoff team?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a division winner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, 10-6. Wow. Okay.
I mean, I think the people in Cheeseland are going to really think they're going to see the 9 games, but we'll see.
No, Larry, I hope. I don't know. For your sake, I hope you're right, but I don't think that wins the division. I think they get in the playoffs.
I think 10 wins might get them in. I think
you have to win 12 to get.
Here's what I think helps them compared to some of the other teams, and we mentioned this a lot too. The NFC South, they're all going to beat up on each other. So you can make the case that maybe an NFC South team that does not get into the playoffs might be a touch better than Minnesota, but Minnesota's got Detroit and Chicago 4 times a year.
But you might have, first time in a while, 3 teams come out of the NFC South. Possibly.
It is.
It's very possible. Not likely, but it's very possible. So we will see. It should be interesting. So that's all the time we have for our Minnesota Vikings preview. We want to thank our friend, good pal, and Adrian Peterson signee, Larry Herrera, for getting a line, helping us out with the Vikings. Hey, Larry, we very much appreciate it, pal.
Thank you.
No, Larry, thank you.
The good thing for Larry is at times he can always pawn his back off.
He could. He can just cut it right up and slice it right out. That's a good idea. So remember, you can always get us on social media if you need to.
Absolutely. This is one of 32 previews we're doing to get you ready for the 2017 NFL season. Make sure you're following the Sports Box on Facebook and Twitter at Sportsbox Show. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of great content coming for you guys for a great NFL season. Make sure you're on the train.
And if you haven't subscribed, man, you must be on medication or need some. So get on your...
Mike knows about that.
And I knows all about it. I'm like Rite Aid, so don't worry about it. So anyway, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters.
It's right here.
Oh my God, it's so right here. Thanks for watching. See ya.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velardi. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
1, 2, 3. Don't forget to subscribe.